All right.
Here we are. Look I'm wearing something new. Brand new. I've been crazy shopping. I've bought like 2 armloads of clothes at this one store near us recently.
Really near us, but yeah.
You might have heard of it. Sierra Trading Post.
Yeah.
it's like the Ross for athletic wear. Mm-hmm. And I am into it because like it rides that line between workout clothes and casual clothes, where like a lot of the stuff could be one or the other. It's like the same. That's where they live. And
Yeah,
so
it's like outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah.
/ workout stuff.
Yeah.
But all of it like looks cool.
And I'm just gonna live in this stuff. It's so comfortable. So
And you could totally go out in that.
yeah.
Or a
I
bunch
worked
of the things.
today.
Yeah.
In this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're starting off with a recommendation. Sierra Trading Post.
Starting with a rec. Okay, so other than Sierra Trading Post, we got a bunch to talk about. So
Well, this isn't musical, but it is audio. You observed that when we were shopping in Sierra Trading Post, they had a very interesting celebrity endorsement or celebrity
oh my gosh,
advertisement
that's right.
going over
I completely forgot about that.
I heard it again when I was in there the second time when I bought my second armload of clothes.
It's David Spade. Uh-huh. The stand-up comedian David Spade, who is also in Tommy Boy and Black Sheep and Joe Dirt and a bunch of movies. And he's like a very sarcastic, like extremely sarcastic comedian. And he was doing promo spots for Sierra Trading Post in the Sierra Trading Post.
In the store. It was like he was the pre-recorded voice who was like, get your holiday stuff on sale now.
Yeah. But it was David Spade, who is not outdoorsy.
It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it was very weird. Oh my gosh. All right, well, here we go. Let's get into it.
Okay. Well, obviously, we're going to talk about the showcase.
That would be the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where to begin?
Well, so I spent most of the week prepping for it. I mean, that's not true. It's not like I was doing 8 hours a day or, anything crazy like that. But every day. And then we had Saturday, we had a very long rehearsal. Actually, we got through it pretty fast.
Yeah.
It was a solid 5.
Yeah.
5.5 hours maybe.
Yeah.
With no break. And yeah.
Yeah, your brain was probably jello after that.
It kind of was. But it went great.
Yeah.
In rehearsal. And then Sunday, we had the big showcase. And, I kind of noticed that, like, these November showcases tend to be, like, the big one of the year.
Yeah.
It's kind of there's a natural progression to it.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of the ultimate showcase of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
And we were at Roots Music Project up in Boulder, which I'm going back to and playing Saturday afternoon. We'll talk about that. But I thought it went amazingly well.
It went so well, it kept running ahead by a lot.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, I just, I only put 10-minute switchovers between each set, which is pretty fast, but we were moving so efficiently and so well that we were like 20 minutes ahead at one point. Not that being ahead of schedule is a measure of how good the showcase is.
No.
That's just a measure of how smoothly it went.
Yeah.
But it was a spectacular showcase for so many reasons. The number of people who had transcendental moments where they did something that they never thought they could do, or they achieved a huge goal for themselves. One guy, it was his first time singing in front of anyone ever.
Right.
What a way to kick off his singing experience, my gosh.
And there were several first-time showcase people.
Yep.
And then we had some great returning champions.
Oh, yeah. We had some great returning veterans.
Lily Plaisance.
She looks so cool. She's so comfortable.
And oh my gosh, she killed.
Yeah.
That was... Well, before we even get into that, Daniel Mendez also killed a couple,
Cat Hacker.
Long time people who've done it. that audience was so hot.
Yeah.
I mean, showcases are obviously very warm audiences because there are people who are there to support and family members and friends and everything. So it's a very warm audience, but not too far into it, that kind of turned into a hot audience. Like the responses from people were just like, it wasn't like polite clapping. It was like,
woo!
People losing their minds. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. We started out with the pop choir. In terms of the sets for the day, we did pop choir, and then we did the first set of the showcase singers. So that was the backing band with the individual singers, and then we had a client band, and that was
Who Likes Pie.
Who Likes Pie was the name of that band.
I love that name.
I was blown away by Eva's improvement in her bass playing.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, she has gotten better.
It's just like she's a bass player now.
Yeah,
and she's someone who's come up in the Performance High Band program, and been in a couple of these, and started really simple, just kind of playing the most minimum thing you can do because she had just started playing bass. And then Sunday, boy.
Yeah. Well, she's also in a band with Alyssa Haddon.
Right.
And Sarah Brandt.
Yeah.
Sarah's my student. So Sarah is brand new on drums as of 6 months ago. But her dad is a drummer, so she's picking up things really fast.
Right.
And Alyssa plays a bunch of instruments. And so they're doing a 3-piece all-women band that is booking gigs.
Are they booking stuff?
They're playing like house parties and block parties and stuff. So the 3 of them are getting together and rehearsing pretty regularly.
And that was always the goal. For the whole thing was to empower people to really get out there and do it. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Eva's, she was just killing it.
Yeah.
Sarah was great, and then we did another showcase set, about an hour maybe. And then we had another client band, Dan, more or less leading it.
Yeah.
And what were they called?
The Butterfly Effect.
The Butterfly Effect. Not sure what that is, but
yeah, you know it.
I know what the butterfly effect is. It's making dragonflies gay. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it means, right? Anyway, they did great. They were one of the newer ones. So the Who Likes Pie guys have been together for a semester.
No, well they're new too.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought that group had been...
No, I mean, Eva's been in a band before, and Alyssa in one of the Performance High bands.
Oh.
And so has Alyssa, and so has Stacy. Wait, was Stacy in that one?
Stacy was in that one.
But wait a minute.
Or was she in... Yeah, doesn't matter.
Right, no, they were not all in the same band before.
Okay, but they were not...
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Right. But those guys were killer. Alyssa on guitar in that one.
And drums.
Yeah, and drums.
And sax.
Oh my gosh, they switched around so much, and they had sax, and they had trumpet, and...
I know.
They had a bit more of a soul thing going on. I mean, it wasn't like a full-on thing, but it was a little more in that vein.
I don't think that band had trumpet. It was Butterfly Effect that had trumpet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about Butterfly Effect that had trumpet and sax and...
But they had violin.
Violin.
Because that was gosh, I can't remember her name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. But I mean, across the whole group of clients, we had 2 people playing violin, one person playing trumpet, and another person playing sax.
Right.
And then many people playing multiple instruments.
And then everybody splitting vocal duties.
Yeah.
And then another showcase set went great. The last one was really hot. And then we had another client band called the Pearl Clutchers.
Actually, it's Pearl Clutcher.
Pearl Clutcher, not the Pearl Clutchers. Yeah. That makes sense because they're a heavy hard rock band. That's much better. And they did, some Alice in Chains and some...
An original tune by Tanner.
An original tune by Tanner, which they killed. I was so impressed with Connor,
Yes.
Or maybe newest teachers, I think.
Yeah, I think he's the newest.
He's mainly doing bands and stuff right now.
Yeah, that's all he's doing.
And he plays with Andy Sito. And,
oh, he does?
Yeah, he's Andy's bass player.
No way.
And is going on tour with Andy in January.
Dude, really?
I mean, a short tour, but...
Wait, was he the bass player when we played the Bluebird with them?
He was, yes.
I did not even put that together. I used his amp.
I didn't put it together until we were talking about it, and he was like, oh, I was the bass player at that show.
Oh my gosh.
And then instantly I was like, oh yeah, I recognize you. Of course you were.
Yes, now looking back, I totally remember.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel like an idiot.
It's a small world.
It is. Speaking of which, Tanner is working with Steve Langamo. Did I tell you that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, so Steve reached out to me. So Steve Langamo plays with Jacob Larson and Diamond Empire and a bunch of other bands. He plays 100 dates a year.
Yeah.
And he reached out to me to see if I had any recommendations for heavy metal singers.
Yeah.
And so I suggested Tanner, and they met up and hit it off, and they are off to the races.
Oh, that's going to be so good for Tanner.
Yeah.
Steve is a heavy hitter
Yes.
as far as a musician. He is. He does a lot of jazz fusion, funk, obviously, because he plays with Jacob Larson, but then also metal stuff.
Yeah. He's playing in Greece this summer with the
Yeah.
band.
There's a European band that he plays with, and he
Yeah.
goes over there kind of a lot.
Well, we worked on a couple of Tanner's tunes today, and they are, they're math metal. They're
Right.
I cannot count what's going on, but Tanner's fine with it. He's got it.
I know those metal guys really get it. It just locks in. But boy, they tore that room down. It was so great for them to end with that. And they were talking backstage about like, how do we start getting our own gigs? Are we ready to gig? Or,
oh my gosh.
What do we do next?
Yeah.
So really successful. I would say I was very disappointed in myself in the showcase. It did not go nearly as well as I wanted it to, especially for the amount of prep that went into it. And it actually, I was talking to Ingrid about this. So when we started with the pop choir. We mentioned that. So it's a choir of like 10 people or whatever. And then the backing band. And for whatever reason, with sound checking all these different bands, when we started the pop choir, my guitar in the monitors, the speakers facing the band and the choir, my guitar, I started the song and it was so loud. I mean, it was deafening. And I saw everybody's shoulders go up. Like,
oh no.
And they're a choir. And because we have to use kind of like area mics, like not everybody's on their own mic, they can't really be in the monitors very much because that will feed back. And I could tell that they didn't know what was going on.
Oh man.
And they're not super experienced, so they may not have picked out that that's what was bothering them.
Right.
I bet if you asked them, they would be like, Anyway, I couldn't get the sound guy's attention, which, by the way, Ian did a phenomenal job the whole day. Ian really rolled with the punches and dealt with a million different things, and a lot of people not being very experienced, so they didn't necessarily know what to say when they didn't, But he was incredibly cool, kept his cool.
He was really nice. Not just kept his cool, but like outstandingly friendly.
Outstandingly
for a
friendly.
sound guy.
Yeah,
for any guy, anybody.
Yeah, but he made everybody feel great and stuff.
Yeah.
But long story short, it was the very beginning of the set, so he's kind of trying to set stuff, and I had to get your attention.
Yeah.
And get you to go over there and I was just like, I can't not play, but also I'm drowning them out. I mean, it was wicked loud. And I never recovered from that.
Really?
It has not happened to me for a very long time, but just that, oh no feeling.
Oh, yeah.
And I never got... There's a feeling that you have as a musician sometimes where you feel like you are just barely keeping up. The way you want to feel is that you're a little ahead of what's going on. Even in a technical sense, like you're looking at a chord chart, you want to sort of be like, oh, I've got a G coming up. Oh, I've got an A coming up. And I just got on the backside of it, and I was just barely reacting to...
Oh, boy.
And I never got it back until that last Showcase Band set maybe the last half of that,
Oh my gosh.
I just was in just kind of panic mode, and I just couldn't mentally get on top of it after that. And then I was insecure about my volume for the rest of the time, and I was like, you know, and I just never recovered.
Huh. Is there any lesson to pull out of this?
Well, you know, maybe practicing more, and maybe, you know, I could probably figure out better techniques for getting past that feeling. And also, I think one of the things was there's a stage there, amazing venue, killer venue. The stage is very small, especially for all of the stuff that we have to set up. It's so much stuff and microphones and whatever. And so Nate and I were, again, we talked about the last time we were there in March or whatever it was. We're stuck in very tight quarters. So again, I couldn't move my feet. And normally what I would do if I was in that situation is I would get physical and
kind of shake it off.
Stomp the stage, shake it off, move around, pace. But when I was stuck in, like, literally I can't move anywhere, and I just couldn't physically get those feelings out.
Oh.
And I tried to jump up and down a little bit on set breaks and try to get some of it out, but I just couldn't. There's the thing I've talked about before where you have a sense of a command of the stage. Mm-hmm. And I just couldn't get back to being on top of what was happening. I was keeping up, but only barely, and I was not in charge of what was going on, even with my own instrument. I was just barely keeping up.
What a terrible experience for you.
Yeah. Well, and also, to be fair, it was a lot of extremely dense tunes. We talked about it last time, but there were a lot of very theatrical, very monster. There's a lot of stuff in these songs. There's a lot of guitar parts. There's a lot of this and that. And I think how I'm feeling right now is I just need to get way better as a musician, because that was I was struggling to learn that much dense stuff. And I don't read especially well, even charts. Mm-hmm. And when I get behind and I'm just barely hanging on, I don't read well enough to, like, you know, and then you've talked about this, you're almost more confused. Like, it would almost be better to not look at the chart and just rely on your prep.
Right.
Because you're trying to play, but you're trying to read, and it becomes too many things. And I just haven't had that happen in a long time, but this time that definitely is what happened. You know, and I don't know, everybody, you know, said that it sounded fine, but I was like, oh, there's so many things I, like, actually worked on that I just didn't hit, or I hit wrong, or I missed it. Like, it just, like, we did All You Need Is Love by the Beatles. The pop choir did it, and we were backing them up, and there's one verse thing where there's a guitar part, and, like, I totally, like, knew where it was, and I had it marked on the chart, and then it went right past me, and I was like, oh, now it's too late to start doing it. Like, I just missed it.
Right.
And I prepped it and practiced it. I mean, it was a little 3-note thing, but I'd actually, like, I'm going to put some good vibrato on this. And it's going to sound really good.
I hate that.
Yeah.
When you work on something little that is, like, small but important.
Yeah.
I know, I've had that happen.
I just felt like I went into it feeling like I was going to kill. And I'm like, I'm going to do a great job at this showcase. And then that threw me, and that went right out the window, and I went from confident to extremely unconfident.
I think you need to work on your brain.
Yeah. Well, it happens. I mean, everybody's had that thing where just like something throws you early on, and you just you're playing catch up mentally for the rest of the time, because you just get thrown.
Yeah. I mean, I had that when I had the string pop out of my bass.
Right.
At a Diamond gig where, like, I tuned, I set up, we sound checked, I went to the bathroom, I came back, and the string wasn't in the saddle anymore.
Yeah.
That flipped me out, and I spent the rest of the night wondering if it was going to happen again.
Yeah. And you're
just nervous. Like, I got panicky that night, and, like, Joe was being Joe, you know, joking around and stuff. And I'm like, Joe, help me, Joe. I'm like, SOS. Like, I can't even think right now.
Right.
and he's like, yeah, it's not a big deal.
It is something that really can happen.
Yeah.
You know, Anyway, that was my showcase experience.
Well,
so
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, it's nobody's fault. It's just it's a very complicated thing. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going into it. I just I mean, at the same time, like I always said, as I always say, you learn from things going wrong. Had I killed at that showcase, there's not lessons to take from, man, I knocked it out of the park. There are lessons to take from, what do I do next time in that situation? How can I chart better? How can I, all those things. So there's,
how can I return to my centered state?
Right.
Is one. And I'll talk about, I'm not going to say you should have done this, but like something that has helped me in the past is having an anchor. So like I would practice meditating. This is back when I was water skiing and competing. I would practice, I would get into a meditative state, and I would practice being centered and focused and ready to go the way that I would need to be like on the dock before my turn.
Right.
So it was a kind of an activated, like, slightly nervous, but like, yeah, I'm ready, but I'm calm. I'm detached from the outcome. I'm focused on what I'm doing, and not 5 minutes from now, but like the moment. And then I would put my hands together as if I was holding my handle, my water ski handle.
Right.
Normally they're apart, but I would just, this is my anchor, and I'd be like, okay, this is what connects me to that feeling. And I would do that in water skiing. And so I brought that over to singing too, and music. I don't seem to need it anymore these days. I guess I could have at that one gig that I just mentioned, but having an anchor where you're like, this connects me quickly back into that state that I want to be in before I perform. Don't you have one of those?
I have that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that applicable, and maybe I need to develop one, because I don't do that kind of chart reading bunch of material. I mean, no gig that you're normally going to get has this variety of material.
Yeah.
And variety of tones and variety of techniques. And on this one, I need to be this, and I need to finger pick. And on this one, and we haven't. Here's a weird diversion. I've been loving doing it, but I normally hold the pick with my first finger and my thumb. Mm-hmm. And when it's punkier or needs to sound a little sloppier or a little younger, I will hold it with this finger and my thumb, my middle finger and my thumb. And if I need it to be really like the guitar on this is really sloppy, I'll hold it with this.
Really? And your third finger.
My third finger and my ring finger and my thumb. And I sound a lot more competent and clean and professional, but you don't always want to sound that way.
Right.
So I'll move the pick over and play it with my middle finger or even my ring finger, because it makes me sloppier.
How funny.
And it sounds better for certain certain songs,
Yeah.
If you need to get that just like brang, 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 I'm a teenager just banging it out.
That's one thing I love about popular music is its allowance for all kinds of styles and all kinds of approaches that aren't chord correct. I was just working with Jacob Larson this evening, and there was a song he was doing. It's from 1974. I don't even remember. I'd never heard it before, but it was real rock and lots of energy, like boom, 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 like a party tune. And I had him do the opposite of what is normally desirable in singing, which is get more percussive. Because like the classical, correct way to sing is legato. You connect your vowels.
Right.
I don't even have a phrase for you, but la, 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 all connected. And this song needed la, 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 la. This song needed percussion.
Yeah.
It needed consonants. It needed some bite. And so, like, I love that. That's why I love working in popular music, is like, it's kind of not what have you been taught. It's like, what sounds good to you right now? What feels good? What gets the message across?
Yeah, and that's what is fun about doing those showcase things, is you're jumping around in genres like so much that, I mean, that's sort of the fun. Anyway, lots of lessons to take away from that. And I, as always, it's great when something doesn't go good, because you can analyze and improve. And
you're walking the walk.
Seeing those things that don't. Yeah. I mean, that's what I like about doing it is, I like getting better at it.
You've gotten so much better since we started these a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably time to start wrapping. We talked about the showcase a lot today.
Yeah. There's some good things to talk about, though, I thought.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuff coming up. We've got Buffalo Rose, one of my favorite venues,
Yes.
with Petty Nicks.
Love playing there. It's close, and they treat us well.
And they treat us really well.
And it's always a great crowd.
That crowd is hot.
They line up early.
Yeah.
There's always a line down the block while we are doing sound check.
Yeah.
I don't even understand. Like they'll wait like an hour or two before the show.
I know.
To come in.
It's really, there'll be a line down the block, so we're grateful for that. I'll be back at Roots Music Fest with Jonathan Greshler's band, Half Zen. Same day. I'm going and playing with them earlier in the day, and then we're going to Buffalo Rose.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. On our calendar, it's not right.
Oh, yeah. Might not. Because it got
changed,
switched.
yeah.
It was a whole thing.
Oh, what a day for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, long day. I'm trying to talk them into not making us get there an hour and a half before our 20-minute set.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's...
All right.
Anyway, so good 13, 14-hour day that day. But, they happen. And then so many classes coming up. I've got a GarageBand class and a Intro to Live Sound class for solo people and duo people.
Yep.
And
we have a lot of classes the next couple of weeks because we are shutting it down, basically after mid-December.
This is kind of the end of the semester.
Yeah.
As it were.
Can't believe it.
But we are most immediately going to go eat dinner. So
yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out and watching and listening. We are sponsored by Sierra Trading Post.
I wish. But their prices are so great.
Oh,
it doesn't
unbelievable.
even matter.
You got like 6 or 7 things and it was like $100.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this hoodie was probably $14.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is just like everything is $15.
Yeah.
So walked out with armloads of clothes. It's just a whole new wardrobe.
Sierra Trading Post, and not necessarily the stores, but if you go online, they have excellent deals on camping gear, fishing gear. They're just kind of a Nordstrom Rack for outdoors / workout stuff. So
yeah.
It's
my new style. I've really elevated here. I'm going to be wearing workout clothes all the time.
They look cool. But yeah, we want to thank them for their sponsorship. And they were nice and did a wire transfer instead of just literally dropping off cash. So
good, because it's going to snow tonight. I wouldn't have wanted to sweep up all those bills.
No, we would have had to bring it in tonight. Yeah. So, thank you, Sierra Trading Post. And as always, we are sponsored by Performance High.
Voice and Music Studio.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.